We return to Alcatraz Island in the cold, cold of December, in the dark, dark of night and icy fog, to play Leagues of Cthulhu by Triple Ace Games, featuring some pretty interesting characters, one of which unfortunately has been separated from us by the events of real life, and hopefully he may, as Ivan put it, Han Solo himself in toward the end, but who can say? That is one of the difficulties of life, and certainly life in Leagues of Cthulhu is no different. It's worse. So to begin with our recap, I will turn you over to what are in Leagues of Cthulhu terms referred to as hench people, and in our case, henchmen. And these henchmen will get us all up to date.
Well, first the professor had it in his head that we need to go to San Francisco or over to the California. I just don't understand why we got to go all over the damn world. I love him to death. I take care of the man, but Jesus. So we get into the Bay Area and we go into this place called Alcatraz. And I tell you, the fog's so thick and the wind and, oh, geez, it chills you to the bone. So we meet up with this guy. Decent chap, decent. Sets us up with a free ride over, but we got to pay on our way back. But I understand, man's got to make a living, you know. And we get on this rickety old barely floating ship, and it got mail, smells of all kinds of nasty ocean and all that. Again, damn, and when I think it can't get colder, it does. We're huddled next to the damn boiler, and the little space heat from the that they had set up for us. Thank God they had some spirits for us to keep us a little bit warm. Gow, I tell you, and this man, this group, I tell you, they are after their death. I tell you. But the professor wanted to keep on pushing on, so I followed along and did. So we get across this thing. We land up on this boat, and from the get, the people over here acting. Well, now I don't know if this is a West Coast thing, but these people are acting absolutely silly, and there's just something off about them. And I'm just glad we were able to get a bite to eat after all the craziness that was happening on the freezing bitter cold getting over this dadgum island.
Well, I tell you, I'm Bill Pullman, freelance reporter, and I've been following Mr. Determination Corbett forever, it seems, all around the globe. Follow where he leads and always into adventure. Now, we were supposed to have come here to Alcatraz to meet with Mr. Corbett's brother, and as soon as we stepped into that dock, things started going strange. The guards didn't seem to be expecting us, and it was clear Mr. Corbett said he had an urgent communication from his brother. So we managed to talk our way in. They led us to this holding area. I think it was a barracks. We waited there for a while. They gave us some soup. Food wasn't bad, but really we're anxious to see what was going on because they didn't seem to know what was going on, and they said nothing was wrong with Mr. Corbett's brother, which was even stranger. So after some time where the doctor and the rest of the fellows were asking to speak to Mr. Corbett's brother and his doctor, eventually Mr. Corbett's brother, Temperance, appeared. Now I got very suspicious when I saw him. There was something weird about this man. I didn't see him blinking much. And this impression was later confirmed by the rest of the group. After they talked, they left again and left us alone. Mr. Corbett and his companions all agreed that there was something very wrong going on, and they really expected Mr. Corbett's brother to be injured. Now, we waited and waited, and finally a prisoner came in. This place used to be a fort and now is being turned into some sort of prison. They're moving the Native American population in here, and this fellow was beat up, and that's not right. Anyway, the doctor and the rest of the group talked to him, and they decided that something was really wrong. So they wanted to go off exploring into the island, into the darkness. I don't know why, because there was light coming from the citadel over there. And I figured if something interesting is happening, it's got to be at the citadel. So at this point, they left. And they didn't notice that old Pullman was on the job. So I snuck off and went to see what was what.
Right on. Hi, my name is John Booker. You know what really bothers me? It bothers me that nobody respects the captain. And Captain Gordon's probably one of the best men I know. He really is. And yeah, sure, he's done some real bad things that got him, kicked out of the army. And well, I'll tell you what he told me. He told me I really shouldn't say, but later on we'll talk and I'll tell you what he did. But and it wasn't a bad thing, mind you. But so yeah, we are on this island. It's all kinds of foggy, and it's just terrible stuff. There. The next thing you know, we're walking around in the fog, and I think they discover some kind of graves or whatever. But the captain told me just not to pay any mind, so I kept a lookout, and there was some terrible chanting, something going on. So they were talking about. So I didn't understand most of what they were talking about, but eventually it came real serious, and the captain told us go here and crouch down here, and we crouched down there. He said don't move or I'll, and I knew what he was going to do, so I didn't mess around. Unfortunately, he didn't have to kill nobody, but he would have killed. But next thing you know, they're coming after us, and we're running up this thing. Come on, guys, let's go up this hill. So I'm running up the hill, and I tripped, and I fell, and next thing you know, I'm separated from everybody. I don't know what's going on. I think I might have lost consciousness for a little while, but I get him. So I got to get me to the captain, and I hear all kinds of fighting and a commotion going around, and I see they're these men, they're soldiers, like attacking them. And I don't understand why they're attacking them. We're all American citizens, ain't we? We're all Americans here. It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense that Americans are fighting with Americans. I mean, in a bar, sure. But then again, who would stand up to the captain? But I'm running to get to his side. I swear these men is jumping, like leaping, and like frogs or lizards or something like that. Or them kangaroos they talk about. I never seen a kangaroo, but the captain told me one day we'll go to Australia and I'll see one. But it just didn't seem right. And I finally get up there, and the captain, there's all kinds of shots going on, and that fat professor, he just took off. I watched him, he just slid down the rocks like that. I didn't see him no more, but I heard him scream. So, and next thing, the captain's just standing there all wide-faced, and I was like, I don't understand. Because the captain, he's one of the finest men I know, so I'm just been running up to him right now to ask him, what's wrong, Captain? What's wrong? Because he killed a man, I think, but I don't know. He's killed a lot of men, but I'll tell you about that later. I don't want to tell you about that right now because Captain get mad at me.
One style for each of you. That was fabulous. Thank you. And combat there is, and the captain is standing white-faced in the fog. Right? And the realization has settled over our Dr. Boniface Hibu as he sees the slick trail of ichor going over the side of the cliff face, knowing that the thing inside Determination's brother, the thing inside Forbearance Corbett, is still alive, has somehow, under his eyes, slipped away in the fog and in the ice, is still out there. But combat still ranges, standing over Man Jensen, the professor, is the last of the four that attacked. He's been struck in the back firmly by a thrown heavy stone by determination, and he turned around and croaked a challenge. Our fierce, decommissioned captain has been firing and firing and firing, sometimes to great effect. What will happen? That is why we are here. And so, still retaining the upper hand, this horrific, sagging face, gray and blotchy with its large black eyes ringed in white, lowers its body, repeats its croaking call, and hurls itself through the air at determination. Their bodies collide, and over the side they go, with just the thinnest scream of exhaled air, lost in the mist, as the chanting and the susurration of the waves combine and twist into this stomach-wrenching certainty that something vile is happening tonight. And silence. A stranger now on this island slips away from you all. And all there is the sound of crashing waves, the sound of rising, chanting voices. And
climbing, trying to get myself back up to where these other men are. I'm just glad this horrid beast has run away. I do hope that determination's all right. Gentlemen, are you hurt?
Mr. Corbett? Mr. Corbett, it's Bill. Are you there, Mr. Corbett? It's so dark in here. What's going on? Professor? Yes. It's Bill.
Yes. Where have you been? You were right here with us, weren't you? I thought you were killed.
No. I stayed behind. I thought I'd check out the Citadel. You guys seem to have this side covered, so I figured I'd look for other ways out. And well, there's lights over at the Citadel, and there's this weird chanting inside. It sounds kind of like that, but that one's coming from the shore, isn't it? It's two sets of people chanting, I think. There's lots of soldiers around, and some of these have different markings on them. I don't know much about soldiering, but something different from the in the insignia. There might be different groups of soldiers.
What do you talk? What does it look like? What is the marking you're talking about?
I don't know. Some sort of. I don't know much about soldiering, so I didn't get too much of a close look, mind you. I didn't want them to find me, so I stuck to the shadows, and but there's a lot of people. They keep sending guards over to the Citadel. I saw some guards coming over from the prison building, and they moved toward the Citadel. So I guess while the patrols were out, maybe looking for you. It seems they're calling all the reinforcements into the Citadel. So that can't be good.
And they didn't see you at all.
No, I was lucky. I got away. Where's Mr. Corbett, though?
One of them, he went over the edge. I fear he might be dead. I don't know. We almost all were killed.
Oh, no.
Some of them attacked us.
And
yes, these creatures are fighting something fierce. It's absolutely inhuman.
Do me a favor, son. Do me a favor. Just look at me for a second. Just look into my eyes. And I kind of blow into his eyes.
Okay. Yeah,
it's good. Excellent. These markings on the soldiers. Can you tell me what they look like? Can you draw them in the sand here? Can you show me what it looks like?
I'll try. I don't know what they look like exactly, so.
Well, the insignia, it's dark and at a distance. The insignia were obviously different, but
That's about it.
Okay, that's about it. Yeah.
That's all right. So maybe we'll have to go see this for ourselves. But you say they were chanting. That same sound that we hear, because I could just hear it coming from everywhere. But you say it comes from the citadel, but it also comes from the sea itself.
Yeah, there must be two groups of people chanting. Yeah.
You see, Boniface? You see?
And Boniface is like, "Oh, is anyone hurt? Can I help anyone?"
I'm hurt, son. Look at me.
God.
I'm trying.
Oh, wait! I'll get my bag.
Yes, doctor. I believe we could all use some wound care.
I have some carbolic acid recommended by Dr. Lister for its antiseptic properties.
Carbolic acid. You're not gonna.
No, it's just an antiseptic. It'll help the wound heal. It'll sting a bit, but it'll prevent gangrene from developing and suppuration. Yes, I have some bandages.
Of course. Yes, please. Just if you could just put some right here. It's.
So I wanna try some first aid.
Yeah.
Oh, let's look at it real quick because
for every success that you gain, you will convert a lethal wound to a non-lethal wound, and then
that's right.
An additional success will remove the non-lethal wound.
Got it. All right, so I'll start with the professor, I suppose. 2, 3, 4 successes.
Sting!
Stay still.
So those 4 successes could remove the effect of that lethal injury, because you're getting to it right at the time of the injury being inflicted. Now, of course, he's not magically healed, right? So he's still all scratched up, and you have stitched him up or bandaged him up and whatever's appropriate for the type of wound. But as far as game mechanics go, he's back up those 2 lost levels, so you can lose them again.
Nice.
Now this has taken about 5 minutes.
All right. Who else is hurt? Is there somebody really badly hurt?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, doctor. I believe I could use some care.
Well, watch that there are no more of those creatures coming, and I'll see to the captain as well. Oh, Captain, these wounds are deeper. They'll require some stitching. You're hurt worse than the professor here. So, just to
that removes 1 lethal wound.
One lethal wound, yeah.
Boniface, one of the things that you've noticed in your examination of the good captain is that he has kind of a distant stare. There's a lag between hearing a question and responding, and your practice of alienism tells you that he hasn't quite left that battlefield yet.
Well, he seems to be a little bit astounded. There's no time to brew coffee, which might help. Let's see, what else do I have in my bag here? Some mercury? No, that's for syphilis. Let's see, what else? We could try some whiskey, although that might be worse. Some smelling salts, perhaps, will snap him out of it. So I will remove the thing from the vial and put it under his nose and see if that wakes him up.
Oh, goodness, doctor. Really?
Now, with all of these ministrations, the realization is starting to sink in. The professor, the doctor, and the captain of 2 things. they've survived. Whatever this assault was, or whoever made this assault, you've survived it. And there's that grim primal sense of survival, but at the same time, there's the lingering question of determination went over the edge with that thing. What has happened to them? No one has looked over the edge. And so whatever sanity rewards would have been applied, I'm having. And so you can regain 1 point of sanity from this victory over the darkness.
Who doggy?
You all right, ain't you, Captain?
I'll be all right, son.
Okay. And for the doctor, 1 point of style for that period application of medical knowledge.
All fully researched, so that should be kind of accurate, I guess.
I imagine there might have been a bristle brush to go along with that carbolic soda.
Oh yeah, clean out that.
Debridement of the wound is of utmost importance.
So you've been here in that same spot at the top of the stairs. So this is a ostensibly a highly trafficked area. Fog's still moving. The chant is still rising. Corbett is still missing. You know, the sense of time is passing, and you realize that that your associates are talking amongst themselves, and they're piecing the story together, and they are growing more and more agitated as the horrors of the evening become apparent to them, what they have actually faced, especially with the corpse of one of the attackers splayed out in front of the captain, and the horrible wounds that he inflicted upon it with his heavy pistol. How it could have survived after even one of those. And yet it did.
I do not believe we should stay here much longer, son. It's not good.
Captain, says Bill. Captain, if Mr. Corbett is not around, then I guess it falls to you to get us to safety. I was thinking perhaps there might be a telegraph machine in the Citadel. There must be some way for them to communicate with the shore. It's risky, but could we perhaps try and sneak in and see if we can find a telegraph?
Well, it sure beats the hell out of trying to survive the night against these godforsaken fish man creature things.
Keep your voice down, son. You don't want to upset the men. We all know what we saw. But Patrick's kind of stupid. I don't want him to get... he's prone to hysteria. We've seen some pretty awful things before, but he does tend to lose his cool.
But not deafness, old man.
Son, why don't we just have the nice Mr. Pullman lead us over there, and we can use a telegraph.
Pullman, did you see a telegraph over there?
I didn't see a telegraph, but there must be some means of communicating with the shore. I mean, what if there were a prisoner revolt? They'll have to tell the shore garrisons what was going on, wouldn't they?
That tracks.
That's a good
I'm sure there's some communication systems still here from the war.
It's a good idea. And besides, I'd like to see what they're up to.
Professor, I'd like to survive the night. Thank you very much.
Well, that too, son, but come on.
All right, gentlemen, let's pack up. And let's hope we don't see anything Anything nastier than what we've seen here?
Yes.
After you did say you had whiskey, didn't you?
Only for medicinal purposes, though. We must
It is a
conserve
little
our
cold.
supplies.
Or perhaps they have some in the citadel.
There are several routes.
Pulls out a hidden flask and takes it there.
There are several routes, several paths that you could take. Some lead down to the beach. Some lead across the flat and partially artificial top of the island. And there's that glistening trail of black ichor dragging itself over the edge down to the beach below, perhaps.
And I listen and just hear just a little bit of that chanting from the beach. Like, not the beach. Let's take the overland way.
Did Bill catch any side entrances? I know there's like the probably is like a main entrance with a path or something, but are there any? I don't know.
There are a variety of
side
doors into the citadel itself, and each barrack has more than one door. The prison buildings don't. But at each of the entrances of the citadel, there are posted guards and a guard patrol that does nothing but circle the property.
Inside will be difficult.
What we have to do is we want to keep our contact down to a minimum. So we'll wait until the rounding guards pass, and then we'll get in. We'll get in after the two that are holding post against the door. Unless any of you gentlemen have a better idea.
Well, you did say fishmen, right? Yes? Did I hear correctly?
There's one at your feet if you'd like to examine it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The captain points with the gun. Well, unless you have a different way of describing it.
And they're wet, right? They're all soaked. No, they're not soaked. Okay.
They're damp.
Yeah, but they're not like they just came out of the sea, right?
No, they were wearing the military uniforms
uniforms.
of Alcatraz.
You know, while these men are arguing the logistics, because all I'm going to do is when the captain says stop, I will stop. When he says don't talk, I won't talk. And when he says walk, I'll walk. I'm just going to examine this body some more. I mean, just being a little more fascinated now that all the chaos all the excitement has left me, and I'm really going to take a better look at this. Hoping that try to be a little nonchalant about it, so not to arouse too much hysteria from Patrick. But I really want to take a better look at this creature. Examine him just a little bit more.
All right. Now, just looking, or are you going to get in there and...
Oh, I'm going to get right in there.
Okay. All right. As a perk of having had such close exposure to this experience, our decommissioned captain, Gordon, receives 1 Eldritch experience point, which is not exactly something that you'll want. And as a result of this examination, so does our good professor. And if you, dear professor, could roll your elder lore.
I will. I'll do that. And there's a, let's see, there's a 5. So I'm going to actually roll 5 Leagues of Gothic Horror dice.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. I get 2 successes.
All right. Now, in the grip of panic earlier, you couldn't really find the memory of what it was that you were looking for. But what this may be, it doesn't fully match what you've been prepared for. about ones who live deep beneath the surface of the seas, for these seem far too much like men, as if the result of some vile and unnatural copulation between two completely different species has borne fruit. Not entirely one, not entirely the other. But underneath the too large mouth with its not human teeth and its not human eyes, fish-like eyes, underneath that there's every evidence of gills that seem capable of functioning here on land. Of course, inert and in death, it's hard to say.
Remarkable. Boniface, come here, look at this.
Boniface reluctantly leans over the professor's shoulder.
Note the Batrachian, almost Batrachian features of the head and face here, the eyes. And look, and I'm sticking my hand right in the gill, just got to pull up the gill arch, you can't really see until you really get into it. Look at this. Look at this.
What is this?
These are really vestigial gills. These are functioning gills. Some sort of. But look at the mammalian features.
Natural use of batrachian.
Absolutely.
Unforced use of batrachian.
Here, note the hair. It's completely unprecedented, as if there was some kind of. This makes the platypus look pedestrian. Don't you say? What you think? This is fascinating.
This is
Captain Gordon, from the center of the island, you see signs of further search. They're widening out. You can see their lanterns swinging. You are not safe here. Of course, this patrol is coming from the end of the island, the heavy raised spit of the island where the citadel and the lighthouse sit. The lighthouse, is still spinning, but the fog is now so thick that, as terms of illuminating the island, it's almost useless. It just illuminates the fog over your heads.
Gentlemen, if you are done with your explanation or your exploration here, your sick little fantasies and whatnot, we need to get going before somebody comes along and gets us. So I would prefer not to encounter one of these things again in such close quarters. Now, if you don't mind, let's pack up our things and make our leave to see if we can't route around and get up to that citadel where what's his name? Mr. Pullman here seems to think there's a telegraph. So let's pack up and roll out.
Yes, by all means. Boniface is hugging the doctor's valise that he is carrying and adjusts his glasses.
I take the jacket of the dead man and put it over his head, his neck, and say, Patrick, take this. We're going to need this later on.
Excuse me. Take. What do you mean? Take it
for science.
Take. Good God, man! You can't be serious. You.
Patrick, you are incorrigible, useless.
That thing must weigh 200 plus pounds.
At least.
If you can't carry it, my old ass sure as hell can't. Maybe get one of these young bucks that have.
Never mind, Patrick. Never mind.
Yes.
Now, around you in the darkness, there's a variety of rocky terrain. No large foliage; it's all been cut down. There is some small amount of shrubbery and minor bushes and ankle-high grasses and that sort of thing. But there's, as you have already discovered, as you've been evading earlier patrols, there's very little to hide behind. And from your vantage point just ahead, you can see the steep drop of the cliff down to the lower level. Most of the island is just angles and planes of rock. Some places have been worked on and expanded to enable there to be guardhouses or the main receiving dock and that sort of thing. But for all intents and purposes, it's just trails cut into the side of the island to be able to change levels. The beach itself, maybe a meter, right, around the island is what you've seen. There's not much space on it either, and getting back to the Citadel, you have a variety of options, but where will the patrols be? You can definitely see them moving through the central pathways headed in your direction from the Citadel.
Is there any kind of break in them, or it's not a solid line?
No, it's small groups of patrols, maybe the same size as the one that you just tangled with.
Okay, so I'm thinking we come up. I mean, we're because we're heading for the Citadel, and I assume between A and B there's a team there directly in our path. And what I want to do is come up to where we're not in visible range of them, and with any luck, we'll be able to, flank off to one side. So we're where we get parallel to them, and then kind of slink in behind them and trying to keep it quiet and avoid further.
Just sort of bypass.
Yeah, just kind of weave in and out of them. Staying just at the range of visibility.
I don't know.
Okay. Now, in your last attempts to evade the patrols, you had the survivalist knowledge of determination to couple with your own knowledge of tactics and warfare. This time you're on your own. And last time you had your group was focused and certain that they lived in a natural world that they understood. But now, for many of them, that certainty has been lost and the level of fear is higher. So
great. All right, so I'm not going to be able to use my warfare here, or
you will be using your warfare, sure,
but at penalty.
But by yourself at a higher difficulty.
Can I use synergy with my stealth?
Absolutely, but that will also raise the difficulties. You're having to be stealthy for everybody.
Jeez. Okay.
Good, because otherwise I'm going to have to photograph my way to the Citadel because that's all I can do with.
I'll light my way with the flag.
or just throw carbolic acid at them. It's one of those.
Professor is more than capable of being stealthy.
So to move this entire unruly group in an effective means to evade patrols that are now absolutely certain you're out there, the difficulty is 4.
Okay. I don't have any style to play with here. Wait, synergy gives me 2 extra, right?
Correct.
Okay. And my warfare is 6. So that I will take the average. Because that should give me 4.
It should. It's a guaranteed 4.
Yes, I will take the bare minimum on this one. I don't trust my dice.
So you don't want to go for the possibility of a more excellent success, the perks that come with getting additional successes. You want to just squeak by.
So
it just works out just right. So I think I'm going to take it this time.
All right. The Ubiquity player's lament is, oh, I should have taken the average. Oh, I should have rolled. All right. So with just enough successes to avoid capture, your goal of trying to get to the Citadel is frustrated. And you note, no one else is really aware of it. Just you seem to know where you are. You are being not exactly herded, but because of their movement through the pathways, you're being driven farther and farther away from the Citadel, and your options are starting to dwindle. All right. You're moving toward the end of the island where the bulk of the gun batteries were placed for defense of the harbor and control of passage into this area. Now, these should be guarded and manned, but
the best butt of the night.
It seems like troops have been pulled from here as well. To your military eyes,
hot dog.
The rules have been broken.
You see that right there? See that, Booker? That's proof these aren't real soldiers anymore. No soldier would leave that kind of firearm unmanned, unguarded.
That's absolutely right. You're right about that. You're right about that, Captain.
Now, can any of y'all shoot? How many
I can't
guys are we looking at?
I have a pistol, says Dr. Hebu, and then he realizes he hasn't reloaded the gun. So he starts fishing in his pocket and starts reloading the revolver.
I'd love to help Captain, but I can't shoot worth a lick.
Well, the guns he's talking about are massive military cannons.
Oh no, I sure
requiring loading crews.
Is there gunpowder kept with these guns? Usually,
there are storage buildings for ammunition. There are, magazines to store, but no crews.
Well, Captain, perhaps we can get our hands on some of that gunpowder, and maybe we can use that to alert the people on the shore. Could you guide us to loading and firing those guns, or is that extremely complicated?
Well, I wouldn't call it complicated, but it's not. I'm not gonna say it's easy either. So let's get to going. Now you're saying shooting off these bad boys to alert the mainland?
Well,
because I'd rather use these as mowers, if you know what I mean.
Are they big cannons with cannonballs, or?
Oh, we're talking about cannons. Oh, okay.
You're muted, Anthony.
Well, then let's, yes, then I do believe we should probably try to alert the.
Yeah, these gun batteries are against naval traffic.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, son, I'm not a soldier or anything, son, but it occurs to me that if we have these cannon go off, wouldn't that bring all of them here to us investigating?
Well, we could just set off the gunpowder, right? We don't need to load a gun. Just get a barrel of gunpowder, leave a trail, and light it. That should set it off. Isn't that how that works, Captain?
I remember right. No, it doesn't actually work that way. But hold on. Sorry, guys. Let's. Doctor, you got any magnesium in that bag of yours?
Magnesium? No, I have mercury and chloroform.
Oh, highly poisonous. You could capture one for study. Gentlemen, I have an idea. Glenfest, you may find this to be controversial. I could, if you were to watch me, I could leave my body and examine what is happening at the Citadel. See what is going on. Perhaps find out what these people are up to. But it would require for me to enter a trance state for a while.
Professor, we've no time for these mystic practices. There's no scientific evidence to support astral travel.
Manifest. We've enough of your skepticism. We've just seen fish men. Do you remember that?
Well, yes, there must be
a
some
day
sort
ago
of,
you would have said that was impossible. Men that don't blink.
It must be some sort of evolutionary offshoot, as in the writings of Dr. Darwin. I mean, there are species in the Galapagos that nobody else has seen. Maybe there's some native to this part of the country.
Darwin is a quack. Lamarck will be vindicated. You wait and see.
+1 style to you both.
Very well. If you must, we seem to be running out of options quickly.
Now, part and parcel of this conversation is looking for a place to be able to actually do, that ritual. So let's have perception from everyone. And I'm only asking again to roll it because everyone is agitated and not functioning at their best.
Correct. This one, last one. Oh, this is still 3.
Oh, jeez.
1, 3, and 2. Okay.
These 6ers are going away.
The captain's agitated. He just doesn't know what's going on. So it's
shaming. All right. Now, in this, discussion, and there are a few buildings, for the soldiers to shelter, if it were raining or in inclement weather. They're very small, not much bigger than booths for sentries to stand in. A number of those arranged around this particular gun battery you find yourself in. There's a long, low building, which perhaps houses the projectiles, and then there's the heavily dug in, magazine for the powder. And then there's another small building, which looks more like a habitation or like maybe a forward area for taking meals or something along those lines.
It's right next to the bunker, right? So it's like a little guardhouse next to the bunker?
Yeah, that kind of thing, like a guardhouse. It doesn't seem to fit. It stands out. It's noticeable. But soon the patrols are going to reach you.
Mr. Pullman
you're out in the open.
Right. Mr. Pullman goes right to the little guardhouse, see what he can see.
Okay. In the center, there's a wood, a barrel wood stove, and there's small tables, some chairs, deck of cards, this kind of stuff. But it looks like it hasn't been used in a very long time. It's disused. Things that soldiers would be using, here away from watchful eyes, because I'm not at war with anybody. Looks like this would be a happening place for the soldiers. And yet there's cobwebs. There's certainly enough space for, the professor to sit down and think and get mystical if such a need, whatever it is that he's talking about. And it's dry and has possibility to be warmer than where you are.
Okay. And it's just unused. There's no like weird smells or anything in this place to indicate that might be driving them off. I don't know. I'm just speculating, right?
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like there was a murder here. No.
But I mean, it's like there's a smell of garlic and it's keeping them away. I don't know.
No, it just seems like they stopped using it, and quite a while ago.
So Pullman sneaks back and informs the rest of the group. I found a small place, like a little guardhouse. There's room enough for the professor to do what he must do. We can perhaps take turns inside, and
that's big enough for all of you.
Oh, it's big enough, so we could hide there at least while we decide what to do next. It looks like it's been unused, so it's highly unlikely that they'll think to look here first.
Sounds reasonable.
I like the idea of going someplace that these things ain't been in a while.
If nothing else, it will give you cover, and you'll have windows to fire from. Should you be
Looks like a
surrounded.
fine place to make a last stand, Captain. I'd be proud to die with you here. With all of you.
Hang on. I think you missed that little last part.
So the group moves in to the.
Yeah.
Am I correct? You're going to take up residence in this place?
Yeah. Captain, what of the gunpowder? What should we do with the gunpowder? Is it good for anything?
Well, is it good for anything? It's not too damp, is it?
Well, it depends on if they've taken care of it or not, right?
Yeah, agreed. Have they taken care of it?
Are you going in the magazine?
I
See your question, and I raise you a question of my own.
Yes, I would like to examine it to make sure it is it's usable gunpowder.
All right, you all going together, or we're moving en masse, 7 people moving around?
Let the captain find this out. I need to.
Pullman will go with the captain. Dr. Hebu will stay with the professor in the cabin, in the guardhouse, while the professor does his stuff.
I'll go with the captain. I'll never leave his side.
All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We separate. Let's focus in on the captain first, because he's in the most peril.
Okay.
Oh.
I feel like I missed something vital.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Okay. So in this, I just using straight investigation, or
Yeah, that'd be great.
or firearms with investigation.
Those
synergy.
can synergize if you like.
Pullman can assist with the investigation.
Make it happen.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my firearms as my primary, investigation as my secondary, or as my synergy. So that's 7, 8,
2
9.
more dice from Pullman.
And then, all right, you know what? I feel like rolling dice. So
Really, you don't want to take the average? You don't want to be certain of the outcome?
No, I want to roll dice. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? 9? No, 11.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you could just roll one die and take the average of 10 of those dice. So you'd be looking at 5 or 6.
That's true.
I could.
This is what you usually rule.
I
And
love
Why
rolling.
did you possibly ever roll like 15 dice and only get 3 successes? Oh, wait.
well, wait,
That's me. That's my job. That's what I do.
it's like they would say in Game of Thrones, it is known to have rolled 13 dice and get like 3 successes. So
Well, I might as well just roll one. At 5.
nice.
Right. Woo-hoo.
Right then. The low average, we call it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with only 5 successes.
TPK.
Not a good start to this
Blow up the
conversation.
entire island. All right. This is a wonderfully well-made building. The security of the building is for naught. The door should be locked. It should be guarded. It is neither. Okay. The lock is present. It's simply unlocked. And inside, you quickly detect on the floor, there's that grit and grain of powder, right? The inevitable result. But it should have been cleaned up better than this. And this magazine should at least be partially full with, barrels and bags ready for deployment in the guns. But all that's here is the loading equipment. The powder itself is gone. And in the middle of the floor is what could only be described as a trapdoor or escape hatch going down.
Well, gentlemen, I believe we may have found our way around.
Well. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Now, in the soldiers' guardhouse, there's a lot of dust and a sense of abandonment. Spoiled food on the shelves and that kind of thing. Some tins, which are probably fine.
Oh, yeah. Sea rations last forever.
Candles and the like. But
You see this, Boniface? This has not been taken care of in a long time.
This is quite strange.
They have not been men for a long time.
Well, this is quite strange because we got word from Mr. Corbett's brother and well.
Boniface, you got word from one concerned man who postmarked a letter from San Francisco, meaning perhaps he sent it out with somebody, managed to escape to San Francisco for a moment, although I can't imagine he would do that and then come back. I believe this is a desperate cry for help from probably what might have been the only 2 men left, the only 2 true men. Can't you see the evidence around you, Boniface?
Well, they may have been watched. Yes, yes.
and if you recall, there was blood on the letter, inside the letter.
Yes.
So, let me see. I'm not sure if I can do this from this distance here, but I do know the ritual to allow me to travel the Citadel and be able to listen in on what these creatures are doing. I believe that would help us. Perhaps I can see if there's a method for us to communicate with the outside world. Maybe to get Henry back here early. Or somehow to alert Henry that we need to be picked up right away once he gets here. I'm assuming he comes here every day to get the mail. He's our only way off this island. But we must find out the truth.
Carl Fromm is like, are you planning on doing something, Professor? You keep talking about saying I'm going to see things, but then you just keep justifying what it is that you're saying you're going to do and not doing it, and we've been here for like 15 minutes.
Before Bonifants.
Plus one style to the GM for imitating Antoine doing Mr. Fromm. So it's a double. It's a double. I love it.
Two style points. One style. That's fantastic. All right. So my intention now is to sit down and concentrate and remember that the incantations and the words of power I need to say to attempt to cast astral projection.
All right, which of course has some other name. I'll give you 2 style points if you can tell me the other name.
Yeah, see, but I'd cheat and look in the book, so I can't remember.
In the book it says astral projection. You have to come up with the cool name.
Oh, the cool name.
The cool name. What it was, how you actually learned it.
Wow.
That's the spot. Do you enjoy being on it?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. After a long day of work, but like everything I had was sucked out of my head.
All right. So
you got to go something young social. Yeah, that's
the incantation of otherworldly knowledge.
Yes. Those villains keep on getting more style points. So again, this is bad. He's got 3 now. So yeah.
Okay. So the magic requires concentration. The magic requires chanting. And you are in the northward battery. All right. So you feel, as you begin the process, almost like you are floating, like somehow the magic is easier. Something about this place is assisting you, and you receive an extra die.
Ooh. Alrighty. So that's 8 before any penalties.
All right, so the magic in Leagues of Cthulhu, working differently than in Leagues of Gothic Horror, will have you rolling your charisma plus willpower.
Yep, so that's 7.
Your difficulty is 5.
Okay.
You have a bonus die for 8. Yes.
So we're trying to get 5 successes altogether. Is that the idea? We're going for a...
It's an extended roll, so
okay.
We're seeing how long it will take. And if you happen to roll 0 successes,
right,
that will wipe out your previous effort.
All right. Rolling my official Leagues of Gothic Horror dice, waiting for my Leagues of Cthulhu dice, which will probably come sometime next year. So this is as good as it gets. And, oh man, the curse of last night. 3 successes.
All right. So the professor. Well, what is the professor doing, Ivan?
He's rocking back and forth. He's chanting just incomprehensible, obscene symbols that would just make the flesh crawl on Boniface. You know, something that you wouldn't be sure, is the guy's gone mad? Is he completely crazy? Or does this make me feel icky? Chanting and rocking, you got ding, blah, blah. Just ridiculous guttural symbols.
And for now, it is ridiculous. Around this point, we can hear distantly, we can hear the other group making their way into the magazine, forcing the heavy door open. And continue.
All righty. Let's try this again. And that is 4 more successes.
Okay. And things change. For the professor, this is a horror check at difficulty 3.
Yes, it is.
For Boniface Hibu. This is a horror check at a difficulty of 2.
Six dice.
And there's no averages in horror checks, just like
No.
Oh, okay, good.
Wow. And the professor, with his ridiculous sanity, has made 3 successes. Just
Okay.
squeaking in.
All right. So again, anytime a horror check is called for, fear exists. We're seeing how much and how it is resisted. So you're not fine, but you haven't taken mental strain and damage that will lead to impairment. So it's obvious to the doctor's trained medical and alienist eyes that this is just a body now before you.
And
Almost.
at that point,
Yeah. Almost
at that
frozen.
point,
Yeah. Oh, continue.
the doctor removes the medicinal whiskey from the bag and takes a shot and just puts it back.
Style.
Sorry,
So what?
go
You're going to sleep now? So the professor, you are in a frightening place. The air is like the ocean. It is like you're drowning. It is like you're being pulled toward a vortex, and that vortex is far out to sea, deep below the sea. But there are eddies and ripples that the presence of this island causes in that pull toward the vortex. Right. And the clear sense that the eldritch energies, the things that the beings from beyond the veil are able to tap, right? That this is a place rich with their flow. And if you were just to allow yourself to be pulled, you would be guided somewhere deep inside this island before being dragged down beneath the sea. But you do have the capacity to move against the current, as if walking into a strong winter wind.
And move I do.
Throughout your body is that pulsing rhythmic chant. You cannot hear the ocean, but you can hear distantly echoing that chant. Someone is calling for someone. And where do you move to?
I feel this pull towards the center of the island, and I wonder what they're calling. But I must move towards the citadel to find out what it is they're doing first. That is what I said I would do.
In an instant, you're at the citadel. Outside, heavily guarded. There are patrols. You're looking down on it from near the top of the lighthouse. There are guards in the lighthouse. They are simply being sentries, right? Doing their duty, protecting the citadel. But all around you, the very fabric of this place is resonating to the chant which is happening deep below it. This is where the pull would have you go, deep under the citadel.
I think I must see what this is. This is important. I must see what is going on down there. I'm gonna move down that way.
Moving down, moving with the pull.
Moving with the pull.
Inside the citadel. The main room. there's a small group of soldiers. And they are on their knees and bowing, and their bow imitates the movements of the waves, and they are chanting. But beneath that, far beneath that, is where the pull is coming from.
And I float around them. I look. I watch them bowing. I watch that rhythmic. But I want to see more. I want to know more. What is going on? Because I can't just go back and say they're bowing. You just find out what's really going on. So this is important. Further in.
Down you go through the foundations, through the dungeons where prisoners are tied and tortured in solitude. They're, to your eyes, on this plane, their jail cells seeming like hungry bone mouths consuming their souls. Deeper, down through the tunnels, down toward that call. There you enter into a room lit with an unearthly blue light. Whether that light is real or just something that manifests on this plane, you do not know. But the walls are moving. The walls are carvings of people and people of the sea, copulating and coupling in passion, and that scene is mirrored in the fleshy bodies of those on the floor as their priest channels their energy, channels their passion, and sends a deep, deep call into the ocean. And the priest is looking you in the eye, and while chanting is beckoning you to come and join. And oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? And with your presence here, exposed as you are in the spirit, Professor receives 2 points of corruption as his mind is filled with the unholy desires that are manifesting before him, the possibility of a life like this, separated from the burden of age, the dying of the body, and a life of sacrifice for pursuit of academics. The pleasures of the flesh could be yours. And to go with it, a horror check.
Horror? This sounds great. All righty. What was our difficulty?
Difficulty is 4.
Great. Woo-hoo. And I get 3 successes. My first unsuccessful horror check.
Congratulations.
All right. Wow.
Okay. The shock of realization. So you've gained the lustful flaw, part and parcel with the assignment of this corruption of your spirit for being in this horrible place during the enactment of this horrific ceremony. The sanity loss is from the realization that if you do not leave now, you may never be able to.
Decisions.
Yeah, and I don't think he's really getting this lustful thing. He's just exacerbated. It's just...
Would this be a good time for Patrick to just trip into the professor? He's just walking around and just kind of just trips and falls.
Patrick has seen this before, these long bouts of absence from his body.
It's been years, decades, I think.
Stereo.
It's incredible. Huh?
Is he going to stay in his astral form in this terrible place, or is he going to try to leave? Note the word try.
No, I heard that. I am after a real strong struggle with myself. Do I stay or not stay? I kind of sort of come to and remember myself, and almost regretfully, I start to try to leave.
This is purely an exertion of will, as you are a spiritual being. So your willpower times 2.
All right.
This is an extended roll. So I'm going to go back to the guys in the magazine. Your first roll to try and fight against this pull, you'll need to get 6 successes total.
All righty. Shall I roll 1 now?
You should roll 1 now.
All right.
Because you could roll 0, and that would be fantastic.
It was darn close. So this is okay. No, it's 3.
3 successes. All right.
3 successes. It is a big pull.
And part of what's making it so difficult is the regret. The desire is overwhelming.
Oh, yes, it is.
All right. Now, back in the magazine, you have discovered what looks to be a trapdoor in the floor.
Pullman.
No idea that the professor has left his body and traveled to a terrible place.
Oh, yeah. Pullman definitely goes over to check the trapdoor. Is there like a rope
Yeah, one of those
or
big
something
iron
attached
rings.
to it? Oh, big iron ring. Hey, a rope. I thought a rope, but big iron ring is even better. So let's see where it goes. So I start pulling on it, see if I can lift it.
Now, last time you had to try and fight against the urge to resist the Jaws quote, and now I'm resisting the urge to do the Bill Murray quote. Where does it go? It goes down.
It go down.
And down they do, but these are hand-carved steps, rough-hewn walls, big enough that most of you should be able to stand upright with just a little bit of clearance, but the bigger ones among you will find it cramped. Of course, those creatures in their hunching gait would find it just fine. But this represents an awful lot of manpower to dig this tunnel out here.
I want to hear if I can hear the chanting or any noise coming up from this subterranean place that we've opened up.
It's quieter inside the magazine building with its heavy walls. So whatever that echo is coming from the ocean is definitely muted inside, and then down in the tunnel more so. But it's cold and it's damp and it's pitch black. So you'll need to carry light with you.
Do we have any means to make light? Are there any
in the guardhouse?
There were like oil lanterns or something.
The lantern. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Does this? So you said there was powder and such on the floor. Does it look freshly moved? Has anybody been in this room recently, or relative? Let's say within the last few hours.
No, it doesn't seem like that. If it were, there would be wet footprints and things like that.
Okay, so the room is dry and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, the captain will grab a lantern.
I'll carry a lantern, Captain. You don't think it's going to light all this gunpowder on fire, do you?
The group has it's one lantern, if you recall. So you have it with you. So
okay,
no one would keep a lantern in here.
Fair enough.
Booker will be the torchbearer.
Booker, as long as you don't drop it, we should be fine.
I won't drop it, Captain.
I know that you won't, son, and I appreciate you for it. But yeah, let's and then we'll go ahead and head on down let's put Booker in the middle. Captain take lead, Booker take the middle, take his rear, and then anybody else that wants to come down with.
Oh,
so the very curious Pullman has to be at the back.
Yeah, it's got to be difficult. Yeah, but he's going to be.
All right. And you begin moving forward. All right. Now, it's not very long before you're given a choice. There's a cross tunnel, and that cross tunnel has a more of a sea salt smell to it. So it's continue on straight, which your orientation from initially going into the tunnel tells you you're going the length of the island, right? On a gradual downward slope. Or turn toward what is your left, which maybe has, some kind of exit close to the sea.
Captain, if this is close to the sea, there may be a boat. Perhaps a small rowboat or something.
He's right, Captain. Might be way off this island.
There might be, but this is a prison island, gentlemen. I think we've already come to that.
Like yourself.
But it's full of strange people. There might have brought a boat.
Strange people that can swim, son. That can what appear to be have the ability to breathe underwater.
Oh, Captain, don't say those things.
You could if you had such fish-like capabilities, would you need a damn boat?
I'll let the captain.
I say we head on towards the what appears to be the citadel, or at least the length of the island. I think we've got better options there. If we go towards the sea, we just push ourselves closer to the cold and the wet. Yeah, we might be able to avoid the patrols, but
all right,
we don't get any closer off this island.
In the light of the lantern, it's awkward, with the lantern in front of you, your night vision's gone, it's right in your face, difficult to see detail. Those of you who are behind are in a better condition to note details. And so continuing on straight, it's actually Pullman who is finally able to notice these black traces of a still wet material has been dripped on the floor, has been rubbed on the wall. There's large splashes or splotches of it, as though something that is coated in this blackish liquid has paused or fallen against the wall of the tunnel.
I was muted. So Pullman just takes two fingers and goes like this and smells it to see what it is.
It's fishy and dank, and it's viscous. It feels organic and bloody.
Golly, what is that, Pullman? Why are you touching it?
Strong fish smell, some sort of oil. Maybe there's water here. Maybe there's blood in here too.
Blood.
He just scrapes it on a piece of empty, corridor and try and get it off his hand. I suppose it was leading from the cross section, so maybe they dragged something in here. It seems to have slid up against the wall at some points here.
Would either of you two venture to say this pattern of this slop was consistent with somebody severely wounded or something severely wounded, possibly by, and he unholsters his gun and kind of waves it around. Something that may have come in from the ocean off the cliff.
Oh, that's a good point, Captain. That might be it. At first, I thought that must have dragged some sort of seal or something in here, but what you say makes much more sense.
Which tells
So
me
maybe
we're heading the right direction.
Captain, you figure it's that critter you shot?
Yes, sir. That's exactly what I think is going on. And if
And
I don't get
distantly
to
you hear the sound of chanting.
and if I don't get anything but dead off this island, I want to at least do right by the lieutenant and end the creature that's imitating him.
That's true.
Nice. +1 style.
And we got to kill the one that killed Part Determination too. He was a nice man.
well,
Yeah.
A little sad.
You know, Mr. Booker, I think you should give me the light because you can probably fight better than I can. Just in case we run into that thing.
I think he's right, Buck.
Right here, you could type the light. Just,
Yeah.
almost drop it hand into him. The realization he might have to.
Okay. So we have the light at the back of the group.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now,
Okay.
the captain's firearms, did you mention earlier, was 6?
7.
7. I
Mhm.
think it is highly unlikely that he'd be going into a potential combat system or situation without having reloaded.
I most highly concur.
I know what you're thinking. Did I shoot 4 bullets or did I shoot 5? Tell the truth, I kind of lost count myself.
Doesn't matter. I'm reloaded.
Sorry,
All
fellas.
Are you going to do the full reload, or are you going to leave a blank chamber?
Well, so I'm showing a heavy pistol.
Yeah.
So not revolver. What level of how many?
Oh, that's just a ubiquity shorthand. It is a revolver.
Oh, it's a revolver. Okay, damn.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah.
It's
fitting,
1890.
fitting.
We're not
it's
up.
fitting.
We're not
You know what? In this situation, I'm gonna say he knows enough to put a full load in there. He's not gonna shoot himself.
All right, then.
And if he does, maybe it's not the worst of things.
If he does, he deserves it. Excellent. Okay, so we move forward. Well, the trail of blood, let's call it what it is. It grows thicker, closer together, as if the person were bleeding more or the rate of progress was slower. And the sound of chanting is clearer in that you can tell that you're getting closer to its source. It's not any louder. There's something unnatural or unusual about this chant's ability to be heard everywhere on the island. It's almost as if you were hearing it in your mind, not with your ears. So the volume is not increasing, but the clarity is increasing, and it's being added by actually hearing the chant for the first time.
Nice.
And it has the sound of being obscured by stone passages. Like when you reach the end of this tunnel, you can tell from the sound that you're going to be entering into a wider open space. And the chant is not coming from there, but from beyond it in another area. And as you step out and as the light starts to fill this underground chamber, you notice first that in the shadowy movement brought by the lantern, it seems like the walls are writhing. And these are carved bodies. And at first, it looks like a mass grave or an artist's rendition of if the ocean were a mass of bodies. And then it sinks in that what you're looking at is the most primal behavior between two people, replicated over and over and over again, as the roof, as the floor, as the walls. But not all of the people are people. But this room, this antechamber to horror, is almost like a shrine to passion. And you begin to feel it deep inside you, that urge. And so, each of you gain 1 point of spiritual corruption as this place works its call on you, as it reaches deep inside, not only into your mind and your hindbrain, but into your nervous system itself. And you are assigned, as was assigned to the professor earlier, the lustful flaw, which is exactly what it sounds like.
This is even better than San Francisco.
So, to put it in plain context for the folks at home, the lustful flaw, a character earns a point of style, so is rewarded for when their lust causes complications.
One question about the chamber is it's a hewn chamber. There's the floor is normal, right? There's no
the floor actually drops down to give the impression of depth as you come out of this hallway.
But the figures in here are all carved. There's no people here.
There's no people here.
And there's another hallway across it, right?
Yeah, it's not straight across, but on the other side of the room.
Yeah. What is this place? Shall we go across, Captain?
I don't think we have any other choice. I'll be if these depictions aren't eerily enticing. And
look at that one.
And the captain is alongside one of the walls, just kind of running his fingers over the carvings, just in awe. But still, like there's still a creepy, like it's one of those things. It's not, doesn't feel right, but he can't help himself.
What
now,
if the blood trail?
Captain, you have been alone these many years, first as a military man, and now because of your social troubles.
Mm-hmm. This is something else. And he just kind of hesitates, almost goes into just almost checks out.
In the very center of the floor, there is what looked at first like a shallow pool of water just collecting because you're underground. But as you all start moving in and paying attention to the walls or being distracted by the walls, the lantern light reveals that it is deeper. It's cleaner water. It's not just ground water. And that is where the blood trail has gone. And there's a thick trace of it in the water, and floating there, semi-conscious, eyeing you with dispassion, is the thing wearing the uniform of Forbearance Corbett.
Does it still look like Forbearance?
Only distantly. The uniform is his, right? But the face is of something else completely. Hairless. It's actually hard to believe that anyone could have been fooled. Perhaps it was magic.
All right, so the captain will go over and stand over him, or stand within a what he presumes to be a safe distance.
It's looking at us. Did you say it was staring at us?
Yeah, it's lying under the water,
Oh, under the water, looking at us.
breathing with difficulty, just staring at you.
What the hell is that thing, Captain?
So the captain will pull out his revolver or his gun, pull the hammer back.
And I'll need horror checks.
Yeah.
Now, for the captain, it's fine. This is he's still in the grip of horror of this thing from before.
Oh, okay.
But for the other two, we will need a horror check.
Damn it.
So
Massive 2-die pool.
A 2-die pool, and unfortunately, the difficulty here is 3, so they're guaranteed to lose. But how much?
It's 3. Wait. We rolled twice our willpower?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
That's a horror check. Is double your willpower.
And I'm sorry, and it's 3. The target is
Yep.
3?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I got 4.
If you,
Nice.
style might be useful here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to spend my style chip and roll an extra die.
All right.
Oh, boy. Oh, wait.
2.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll my dice now.
Let's
That's
go.
1.
Okay.
That's 1. I lost 2.
Lost 2. All right. Now,
Oh Lord, I'm insane. I'm at 0.
You're at 0.
Yes.
Yeah.
so Booker, for all intents and purposes, has checked out. He can follow orders or the like, but his independent spirit is, subsumed by the horror of the moment. And Pullman has taken a shock, a real shock. Maybe this is the story that could make your name or break it. Right? But this thing is still alive, and the captain is contemplating murder right in front of you with a gunshot in an enclosed space, which might attract the attention of those chanting voices not so very far away.
What the hell is that thing? Shoot it, Booker! Shoot it!
Fear.
The cat, like I said, the captain pulls back the hammer on his revolver. Whatever God created you, may he find mercy on your soul, you foul beast. And far as mine is concerned, damn you to hell for taking the lieutenant. And he'll pull the trigger.
All right. And the last words this creature speaks on this earth are, Dagon will swallow you. And it comes bubbling up out of the thin veil of liquid in which it resides as its face is pulped by the shot. And you know the thing which wore the skin of Forbearance Corbett is well and truly dead.
Nice.
Gee. Either you two catch what he just said, swallowing us.
Maybe he means a bigger fish. But, that was pretty loud, Captain.
And we cut back to the guard chamber.
Yes.
Who wants to take on Carl Fromm? I guess that will be Eloy, because you've got Patrick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. That's okay.
Oh God, this will be good.
What?
Now, let's see. Can the professor make it back? He's turning
That's funny.
cold, Dr. Hibu. His heart rate is slowing. His breathing is practically non-existent. His flesh is pale.
Oh,
Dr.
Doctor.
Hibu, I realize I'm just a student in this situation, but I would say you're losing the patient. Are you going to do something? And Dr. Hibu is freaking out. It's like, yes, let's take his pulse. I have some smelling salts here. It's taking this. Does it usually take this long, Patrick?
I'd say no. When he gets this far gone, I've not seen him this far gone in a while. It may take a couple of episodes of smelling salts there.
Well, yes, it's not worth risking it. We'll try the smelling salts once more.
All right. Give it a try, Ivan, and the medical ministrations of the people messing with your body can add an additional die.
I'm afraid of the bats all come up. And, that's another 3.
All right.
That gives me
And the farther away you get from that pulling, sucking vortice, the less the detail of the island is apparent to you, and suddenly you're inside your own eyes.
The smelling salts once more, and he stoppers the vial.
Miracle cure.
How long?
A few minutes, but we feared losing you.
Is that all?
Yes.
Patrick will take this obviously belated opportunity to go up to the professor and slap him on the face a couple times. You with me, Doc?
I'm fine. Stop, Patrick. Stop it, please.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure you all right. No, Coach. Gee.
Fine, Patrick. I'm fine. It was. I don't know what I saw. There's something below the citadel itself. There's some force. There was a priest. I saw him look at me, and there were these carvings, these images, these people. It was difficult to leave. They would have sucked in a lesser man, but I managed to escape, to come back.
I'll tell you, Professor, it is amazing what you do.
It is, isn't it? Not many men would be capable of such things. We are in great trouble. But I do not understand what they're calling something. Calling something I did. Not know what. But there were parts of it that were wonderful, beautiful. Made me feel 30 years younger. There's something about this place. There's something, some power, we're on top of a ley line or something. This is a special place. The Indians were right. I don't know if it's cursed, but the great magic, the deep magics, they're focused here.
Huh.
This is a special place.
Well.
Sadly, I did not learn anything of how we might get off the island. I forgot to look for a way of signaling anybody. There wasn't any way to do that.
Of course not. If there was a way, you would have certainly.
I would have found it. I realized that the chanting was much more. I wanted to see what the ritual was. This is a place that deserves further study.
So I'm sure once we get off the island, we we could have the army come in and then perhaps we'll be allowed back inside. But for now,
No. Heavens, no! They would destroy everything. This is far too important for that. There must be a way to study this without placing ourselves in danger. It's remarkable.
Well, Professor, I don't know about that, but I will agree to getting ourselves out of danger. Have we seen the others? Are they back yet?
Weren't they just going to see if the gunpowder was dry?
Yes,
And
they've
they
taken,
never came back.
they've taken quite an awful time.
Mr. Fromm, you're close to the door. Why don't you go check on over there, see if our comrades are still here.
Yes, of course. They don't call me when there's medicine to be practiced, but fetching things, of course, Herr Fromm is good for that. And
Plus one style.
he goes out and goes looking for for the rest of the guys. And
Well, he's not
returns in a
sure
few
when he
moments.
gets there.
Yeah.
But he's not sure when he gets there, but it sounds like a gunshot at the end of this tunnel exposed in the floor.
Oh, well.
Just one shot.
I suppose. And he turns back and goes back inside. He says, they have left us. There seems to be a trap door in the floor of the other building, and there's gunfire.
Gunfire?
Well, at least.
Why didn't you
At
go
least-
investigate?
Yeah, be young. You've got the energy. Let's go check it out.
You
I
said
risked my
to
immortal
come-
soul to go investigate for us.
you
The least you could
said
do was
to
go walk down
come.
the pathway.
The professor's right, son.
So difficult to please. You asked me to come and inform where they're gone. I come back and deliver a report. Now it's go back, Carl, go back here, fetch this, fetch that. Very
Yeah,
well.
You got the energy.
Is there another lantern in here I might borrow?
Candles.
Very well, candles, I suppose. He lights one, assuming there's something to light it with. And,
Sure, yeah.
And goes back toward the tunnel.
All right.
Professor, should we stay here or go with them? Says Dr. Hebu.
Let us stay here. There's no sense in going down some passage, investigating that. I'm an old man. Besides, you and I, we are men of science.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we've lost for determination. May he rest in peace. There's nothing can be done with him now. It seems that the captain has deserted us. It did look like he was going quite mad. He seemed to be quite shaken by the events. Don't you agree?
He seemed fine when he went off to look for the gunpowder, but this is strange behavior. And there's gunfire. Doctor pulls out his own revolver, checks it again.
We're safe. You have that. But I tell you about us. This is something fantastic. There's been tragedy here, and that is sad. That is terrible. But there's nothing more important than discovery of the truth. Surely you understand that as a man of science.
Well,
We must.
yes. The pursuit of science is important, but safety of everyone concerned should be of the utmost importance.
Surely there's another boat around here. There's a way we can get back to that dock where that nice young man brought us here. He's coming here this morning. So maybe we can circle around some way and get back. And it's a tragedy that the others have been lost, but you have money. You can pay the man, and we can go back to San Francisco.
But he said he'd be back by sunrise. And
Yes.
Doctor pulls out a pocket watch. What time is it?
It's getting close to 10.
It's hang on. It's only 10 o'clock, Professor. Can we last through the night? We could stay here.
So we can stay here for a while. Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Well, we could stay here. All right.
Yeah, I like that. Get our rest.
Yeah, bar the door. Bar the door. Make sure that nothing can get in. You can barricade it. Find something to do that.
We'll just wait for the others to come back. Yes, I like this plan.
So the group has decided to allow the others to experience their fate without help, correct?
Well, you
Self-preservation.
put it like that, if you put it like that, it sounds bad, but
That's because we're talking about, am I assigning a point of corruption for an evil act or not?
Oh.
So Patrick is just following his employer.
Right,
And
Patrick is an innocent, and he's also very lazy. But we're talking about Hibu and Manjensen.
I don't know if this is cowardice, just outright cowardice or what. So stop.
Nice. I will assign the point of corruption just for the sake of it.
Sure.
Yes.
There's a lot of corruption earned by the professor in just one night. Not all of it his fault, of course. This one, entirely his fault.
It was, but looking at the professor is just so entranced by this entire thing. It's just fascinating. This is probably the most excitement he's had in the occult sense in a long, long time. This is the kind of thing he's been waiting for 65 years.
As a mechanic, corruption represents the group's consensus on the nature of humane and inhumane action.
Mm.
And as another way that the game chooses to reflect decisions that characters make as a result of the situations that they're in, or their character, their nature, whatever. And similar to sanity, it will assign flaws when it reaches a certain level, which then further twists the character. And so there are many ways to present the descent into madness and despair in the game. All right, so you've decided to barricade yourself. So we return to the antechamber. Right, the shot is echoing in the room. Pullman says that was very loud, and the chanting hitches and then struggles and then regains its strength again. But you hear shuffling as of heavy feet on the sand of the corridor ahead of you, around the bend in that other room from whence the chanting comes.
Captain? What do we do now, Captain?
Well, son, I'd suggest you maybe pull out a firearm, find a wall, and let's make sure we get the drop on whatever's.
There ain't no wall, Captain. The room is round.
Firearms? I don't have a firearm.
Just a camera. Just a camera.
Just a camera.
Well, with that, son, I think we've got something. We can maybe get the element of surprise on one of them with the flash of your camera.
Which is, you know,
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. And he starts rummaging and getting his stuff ready to do
Why
that.
don't you come over, Book? Why don't you take the right flank of the doorway?
What's that, Ken?
Take the right flank over there, son. Snap out of it. I need you here.
I'm take out my baton like mechanically. All right, Ken.
Don't have a. Oh, okay.
yeah, he just has a truncheon.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
saw that. I'm like, oh damn. You take and get up right close to the entry. I'll take a little bit. Well, I'll take Mr. Pullman here behind me, and maybe you get a whack at the first one, or yeah, you get a whack at the first one.
All
And
right.
as John Booker walks towards the doorway dutifully, you can maybe hear him muttering under his breath, "We all gonna die. We all are gonna die here. We just all gonna die."
And it's John Booker who first sees what comes out that narrow, dark passageway from the other room. And it is shameful, shocking, but thrilling nonetheless, as these are unclothed men and women of incredible appearance. Sweaty and warm as if been engaged in heavy physical activity. They are aglow with passion and welcoming smiles, and they say, "Why do you look so afraid?"
With that, the captain unconsciously lowers his pistol.
I'm afraid none.
Yeah, and Pullman doesn't trigger the flash. He's just like looking.
One reaches a hand out to caress the side of Booker's head and says, "Come, join us. You don't need to be cold and afraid."
Captain, look back, kind of lower my baton to my side, sort of drop it.
Come in. All of you, come in. It's warm. And we are together.
Yeah, we're together.
Yes, the warmth does seem nice. And the captain will holster his pistol.
Plus
What kind
one
of
style to the
like?
captain and to Booker.
Yeah, Pullman is still torn. He doesn't really know what he's gonna do.
I just want to watch.
That's his thing. That's his thing, right? He takes the pictures. So
A plus one style to Pullman also.
Oh, and a whole new industry was born there that night.
So the person, right, unclothed, physically attractive, is, you know, with the hand on the back of Booker's head, is seeking to pull him back into this other chamber in a very friendly, non-confrontational, very inviting, come hither kind of way.
Well, yeah. Booker with a willpower of 1 and being completely the sanity of 0 right now, just dutifully walks in.
You know it. Like a lamb to the slaughter.
All nice and friendly like.
And inside, he sees physical, carnal delights, the like of which a man can only dream, especially at his age.
Oh, dang.
The chanting just enhances it somehow, as if controlling the rhythm.
Just kind of walking in trance.
And yeah, the captain will actually just, without invite, follow in.
And one is there waiting for you, saying, leave your cares behind, the things that have been weighing you down, the things that keep you from rising up, from floating. Let them go.
Well, this here jacket's been weighing me down an awful lot.
The captain unconsciously starts unbuttoning his trench. Yes, I think I could use a little bit of freedom from my burden.
You've been carrying such a heavy weight. But are you not a soldier? Is it not a soldier's duty to kill?
It is my duty.
Well, then come now and be a man. And a man's duty is to create and procreate.
Oh, it's been a damn long time.
Then why wait? Come.
And he drops the coat and follows.
All right. +1 this time. Pullman is left alone.
And everybody's gone.
One figure is left waiting in the door with a hand outstretched, saying,
and they look human, or are these hybrids?
perfectly human.
Perfectly human.
Wonderfully human.
I can't think of a good reason to say no, except that we know what's going to happen. But I'm trying to look at it from Pullman's point of view, right?
He's a curious guy.
He's a curious guy.
So, he's a curious guy. You know what I think he's going to try and do? He's going to try and take the camera with him. Although it's a big, clumsy affair, he's going to try and carry it and see if he can get a picture when he's inside.
Let's do a straight intelligence check for Pullman. This is double his intelligence.
That would be a 4.
If you ever wanted to spend style, this might be a time.
This might be it. Let's throw in those 2 style checks, because why not? Okay, here we go. Ooh. Oh yeah. That is 5 successes on 6
right,
dice.
If you were put on the spot right now, if a judge put you on the stand and asked you to testify right now, you would not be able to say if it were men or women, which just took your 2 companions away.
Huh. So these things aren't normal. So I want to approach to see if I can see them through the doorway, right?
There's one in the doorway just beckoning you.
Yeah, but my friends. Do I see
them?
my friends?
No, it's a curved
okay.
passage beyond.
Oh man.
The chanting is really powerful. That heavy rhythm that's calling to your blood. It's almost syncing with your heart, and you can feel it on your skin, and the invitation of the person in front of you. But it's just a person. Is it a man? Is it a woman? It's just desirable.
So at this moment, I face this person and I trigger the flash. Yeah. And without waiting to see what happens, I turn around and I run in the direction I came from.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
And I run into myself playing From. No, wait.
That's right. Have a conversation with yourself.
Yes, please.
You do encounter From in the passageway near that T section where you could go out toward the beach. He's having some kind of conversation with himself about, well, obviously I know which way to go, but if I were here with other people, they would be relying on me to tell them which way was the right way to go.
From. There's people back there. They took the others. They're strange. There's something really wrong with them. They're not men. They're not women. They're both, or maybe neither. I wouldn't go back there. There's a passageway. I think it leads to the sea. Let's see. There might be a boat. Let's go that way. They're probably right behind me.
Oh, well, in that case, let's go toward the ocean, of course.
So we turn, we go toward the oceen, see what's what. Yeah.
Again, sacrificing the rest of the group. This is fantastic.
Well, it's a horror story, right?
Right. Down, of course, the length of this passage, there's more of that black ichor. And, signs of dragging feet heading in, and, bloody palm prints, black blood palm prints on the walls. But you make your way out. Your eyes are just blobs of color from the flash, and you reach the end of this tunnel. It's all rough and becomes much more natural toward the end, and it exits out on the cliff overlooking the fractured stairwell that the squad of these unnatural creatures charged up to attack the group. And down below it is the very, very narrow spit of rocky beach and cold water. And not really the hearing of the chant, but the feeling of the chant and its time with the ocean waves.
So the ocean is like below us, or are we at ocean level here?
You're looking down the rocky cliff at the beach and the ocean below. You're above the stairs.
Oh, okay. And there's stairs carved down to descend to the
down
beach.
To the beach.
Okay. Huh. What do you say? From there must be a boat. Let's go, and start going down the stairs.
All right. So down you go onto the cold, rocky beach. And in the morning, Henry arrives at the island. He picks up the bags of mail. He delivers some bags of groceries. Exchanges some pleasantries with the guard. He doesn't ask if the passengers from last night are going to be leaving. And he heads back to San Francisco, whistling a tune and thinking about tomorrow's events. And on this, we close our session of Leagues of Cthulhu.
Awesome.
Nice.
I don't know if that was a good way to play the game, but that was a good Lovecraft story, right? Everybody divided. Some guys get taken here, some stay behind.